Hello and welcome to this video about the untold story of the Titanic's downfall. The sinking of the Titanic is one of the most infamous tragedies in history, and while the basic facts of the story are well known, there are many untold aspects that have remained shrouded in mystery. In this video, we will take a closer look at the events leading up to the Titanic's sinking and explore some of the lesser known factors that contributed to this disaster. Titanic. In full, Royal Mail ship RMS Titanic, British luxury passenger liner that sank on April 14th and 15th, 1912 during its maiden voyage en route to New York City from Southampton, England, killing about 1,500 passengers and ship personnel. One of the most famous tragedies in modern history, it inspired numerous stories, several films, and a musical, and has been the subject of much scholarship and scientific speculation. As we all know, the Titanic was considered to be an engineering marvel of its time, and its designers believed that it was virtually unsinkable. However, there were many factors that contributed to the Titanic's downfall, and not all of them were related to its construction. Firstly, there was the issue of the Titanic's speed. The ship was traveling at a very high speed in order to make it to New York as quickly as possible, despite the fact that there were numerous ice warnings in the area. This decision was driven by the intense competition between the White Star Line and other shipping companies and ultimately proved to be a fatal mistake. Another factor that contributed to the Titanic's sinking was the shortage of lifeboats. The ship was only equipped with enough lifeboats to accommodate about half of the passengers and crew, and this was due to a combination of cost-cutting measures and overconfidence in the ship's unsinkable design. Additionally, there were communication failures that also played a role in the disaster. The wireless operators on the Titanic were not able to effectively communicate with other ships in the area, which could have alerted them to the danger of the icebergs. In fact, some of the messages that were sent were even ignored or delayed, which further exacerbated the situation. There were also issues with the crew's training and experience that contributed to the disaster. Many of the crew members had only recently joined the ship and were not familiar with its layout or safety procedures. Some had never even worked on a ship before. This lack of experience and training may have contributed to the confusion and chaos that ensued during the evacuation of the ship. Another factor that is often overlooked is the class divide on the Titanic. The ship was divided into first, second, and third class accommodations, and the passengers in each class were treated differently. First-class passengers had access to the best amenities and were given priority in the evacuation, while third-class passengers were often left to fend for themselves. This class divide may have contributed to the shortage of lifeboats, as the first-class passengers were seen as more valuable than those in lower classes. Furthermore, there were also cultural factors at play that contributed to the disaster. The Titanic was built during a time of great technological and social change, and the values and beliefs of the time may have influenced the decisions that were made. For example, the idea of progress and technological advancements was highly valued, and this may have led to overconfidence in the ship's safety. Additionally, there was a prevailing belief in social hierarchy and class distinctions, which may have influenced the treatment of passengers during the evacuation. There were many other factors at play that contributed to the tragedy. By exploring these lesser-known aspects of the story, we can gain a more nuanced understanding of the events that unfolded on that fateful night and honor the memory of those who lost their lives. It was traveling too fast. From the beginning, some blamed the Titanic's skipper, Captain E.J. Smith, for sailing the massive ship at such a high speed, 22 knots, through the iceberg-heavy waters of the North Atlantic. Some believed Smith was trying to better the crossing time of Titanic's White Star's sister ship, the Olympic. But in a 2004 paper, engineer Robert Essenhigh speculated that efforts to control a fire in one of the ship's coal bunkers could have explained why the Titanic was sailing at full speed. The wireless radio operator dismissed a key iceberg warning. Less than an hour before the Titanic hit the iceberg, another nearby ship, the Californian, radioed to say it had been stopped by dense field ice. But as the warning didn't begin with the prefix MSG, Master Service Gram, which would have required the captain to directly acknowledge receiving the message, the Titanic's radio operator Jack Phillips considered the other ship's warning non-urgent and didn't pass it along. it may have taken a fatal wrong turn. According to a claim made in 2010 by Louise C. Payton, the granddaughter of the most senior Titanic officer to survive, Charles Lightoller, one of the ship's crew members panicked after hearing the order to turn hard a starboard in order to avoid the approaching iceberg. Because ships at the time operated on 2 different steering order systems, he became confused and turned the wrong way, directly toward the ice. Patton included this version of events, which she said she heard from her grandmother after Lightoller's death in her fictionalized account of the Titanic disaster, Good as Gold. Discovery and legacy. The discovery of the Titanic's wreckage was a monumental achievement that took decades to accomplish. In 1985, a team of researchers led by Dr. Robert Ballard located the wreck of the Titanic, which had lain at the bottom of the ocean for over 70 years. The discovery of the wreckage provided valuable insights into the sinking of the ship and helped to shed light on the events that had previously been shrouded in mystery. Since the discovery of the Titanic's wreckage, there have been numerous efforts to preserve its legacy and honor the memory of those who lost their lives. In 1987, the Titanic Historical Society was founded, which is dedicated to preserving the history and legacy of the Titanic. Additionally, there have been numerous films, books, and other media that have been produced about the Titanic, which have helped to keep its memory alive. The impact of the Titanic disaster on society and popular culture has been profound. The sinking of the Titanic was a wake-up call for the world, and it led to significant improvements in maritime safety regulations. Additionally, the disaster has become a symbol of human fallibility and the dangers of overconfidence, and its story continues to resonate with people around the world. Furthermore, the Titanic has become an enduring cultural icon, and its story has been the subject of numerous films, books, and other media. From James Cameron's epic 1997 film Titanic to the numerous documentaries and historical accounts that have been produced, the Titanic has captured the imaginations of people from all walks of life. In conclusion, the sinking of the Titanic was a complex event with multiple contributing factors, many of which have remained untold until now. While the tragedy is often attributed to the ship's design flaws, it is important to recognize that there were also human errors and communication failures that played a significant role in the disaster. By shedding light on these lesser-known aspects of the story, we can gain a deeper understanding of the events that unfolded on that fateful night and ensure that the lessons of the Titanic's downfall are never forgotten. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this exploration of the untold story of the Titanic's sinking.